JLD Travels, back with a new video today, and today we're checking out why Filipinas give you silent treatment, quote unquote Tampo, and the reasons for why they do it. We'll jump right in. This is a video by Rubeauti, so we'll jump right in.
Babe, are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. Okay. Are you sure you're okay? I said yes, I'm okay. This is not heavy, so I am okay. Okay. Oh yeah, I am. Actually, I'm enjoying myself carrying these things around. Really. Hey, it's me, Rubeauti. In today's video, we are going to talk about why silent treatment, also known as Tampo, is very prone to Filipinas. It is deeper than you think. Hey, really? You know what? Tampo is a passive-aggressive behavior in which an individual intentionally refuses to communicate with another person. It is an act of letting someone know they're upset by not speaking to you, hoping that you will apologize or react in some way. And if given correctly, it can be useful for getting your needs met or expressing your feelings without resorting to yelling and fighting. However, some negative connotations are associated with this behavior, as it often leads further to conflict and resentment rather than constructive resolution. Here's what you need to know about the Filipino tampo, or the silent treatment. To sulk is often considered the closest translation, by the way, and how you can deal with it if someone you love uses it on you. The silent treatment is also a very overused and hackneyed reaction to something because it's so common in cultures where people are afraid to speak their mind for fear of social repercussions. The Filipino version of the silent treatment has many nuances and subtleties, which is why it requires its very own video. The silent treatment can be broken down into two main categories: passive and active. Passive silent treatment means not saying anything, but instead using your body language to send a message that you're upset with them. This can involve sighing loudly, rolling your eyes, crossing your arms or legs, turning your back on them, or just generally giving them dirty looks. On the other hand, active silent treatment involves actively speaking but not saying anything that would help resolve the conflict. This could include refusing to answer direct questions or simply replying with one-word answers like yes, no, while avoiding eye contact. Now that you're watching this, you're probably saying, this is a girl thing, that it's not only Filipinos. That is also true, but I believe that this behavior is most common for Filipinos. I actually receive so many questions about why Filipino women or why their girlfriend do this all the time. And you just don't understand why they go tampo all the time. And you just want to know what is the reason behind it. The telltale signs of tampo are resisting expressions of affection, she's cold all of a sudden, she ignores you completely, she grunts, nods, or shakes her head at anything you ask or say. She hides away in another room. She also avoids other people, or she won't eat. These are usually efforts to get the offending party to make amends. And if these behaviors do not work, one might choose to escalate them by foot stomping, door slamming, and muttering, for example. Like I said earlier, tampo is not something random about Filipino women. It is really one of the Filipino behaviors. Now that you're watching this, you're probably saying, come on, give me a break. This is childish. If she doesn't want, then no. There's a lot of fish in the sea. But who knows, maybe one day you'll fall crazy in love with a Filipina and you'll have to deal with all these childish things, right? Okay, so what is the cultural reason for tampo? While these external manifestations may indeed sound like sulking in the Western sense, the underlying cultural reason for them is what sets tampo apart. While sulking has strong negative connotations in Western countries, tampo is quite acceptable among Filipinos. In fact, Tampo has positive connotations for the Filipino. The cultural behavior tampo springs from the non-confrontational nature of Filipino culture. That is to say, it is a way of expressing hurt feelings in a culture where the direct expression of anger or resentment is discouraged. The withdrawal behaviors of tampo are indirect ways of expressing hostility. It can also be seen as a way by which Filipinos save face, as direct confrontation is usually a threat to smooth interpersonal relationship, which is deeply valued in the Philippine society. This is especially true not only in romantic relationships, also among family members and relatives and friends. But let's focus on romantic relationship. The tampo can be a way for the woman to retain some power in the relationship. Westerners tend to deal with misunderstandings straight away and directly. That doesn't always turn out well because you may act too emotional or hurt someone without understanding the real situation. Women and men from the Philippines generally understand this. Facing a problem while tensions are running high can lead to bigger arguments. That's why one chooses to withdraw from the other instead. We don't want to say something that we'll regret later on. It's a tactic of sorts, but it's also a time for processing emotions. The three common causes of a Filipinas tampo in a relationship. First, cultural misunderstandings. This is the common cause of tampo in an interracial relationship. Maybe you cracked a joke at her expense or said something that came out too harsh, or you might have not trying a Filipino dish she made especially for you to try. If it's balut though, that's a bit too much. Second is jealousy. If you glanced at another woman just a bit long, there's a good chance a tampo is coming. And you know it when she suddenly lets go of your hands while walking and stop talking to you. Third one is lack of affection or appreciation. Perhaps you didn't say thank you when she did something for you. You can cross-reference this with cultural misunderstandings too. Most guys in a relationship with a Filipina will be nodding at this point. So let's get on with ways for dealing with tampo. Use the following tips to avoid turning a small tampo into a massive fight or even breakup. So how you deal with it. The basic expectation of one who engages in tampo is for the offending party to woo, to cajole her out of the feeling of being unhappy. The Tagalog term for this is amuin. For the offending party, the typical Filipino way of dealing with tampo is to respond to the offended party by friendly overtures or expressions of concern after a short cooling off period. Wait for the tampo to blow over time is often the best solution. But that doesn't mean you should simply ignore her. Take this to figure out what you might have said or done wrong, if anything. If you made a mistake or you can't think of anything that might have upset her, use the temporary break to help around the house. Do a chore she has been asking you to do for weeks. Keep making an effort. The bathroom counter looks cluttered, tidy it up. You see her cooking? Set the table. She'll notice that you're making an effort to pave the way for reconciliation. This is important because Filipino women appreciate it when their partner takes initiative. That is very true. Another thing, even though you're giving her space, still tell her that you love her. She wants to hear that, even if it doesn't show on her face. Also, be present. This isn't the time to have a few beers. Giving her space doesn't mean guy time for you. There aren't any fixed rules on how long this phase should last. You'll have to gauge it for yourself. But a general rule of thumb is to not let things simmer until the next day. Cater to her, tuck up, or lambing. That's the Filipino word for it. Lambing. Catering to her whims. Even if it's just to help patch things up. According to the Tagalog dictionary, to do lambing is to caress, to show fondness, affection, and tenderness. It's like sucking up but doesn't carry the same negative connotation. The goal is to get her to tell you what's bothering her. It may be forced, but it's not full-on lying. This is the next step after giving your partner some space. Start gently. Most Filipino girls will resist, but that doesn't mean that she's against you wooing her. Give her compliments, tell her how beautiful she looks today. She'll ignore you, that's for sure, but you have to be persistent. Ask her if it was something you did or said. Soften her up by saying something like, "You know, I wouldn't hurt you on purpose, right?" Or, "Please tell me what's wrong. I miss you." It makes me cringe because it sounds so corny, but believe me, these work 100% of the time. Another way to deal with it, apologize with a thoughtful gift or note. Filipino girls love to feel appreciated. all women do. And one of the easiest way to do that is buying them gifts or a thoughtful note. But at certain point, this can get boring and repetitive, right? Put some thought into it. Is there anything she'd like to have that she's mentioned recently? Perhaps she has hinted that she wants something she saw in the mall recently, like a phone case or a t-shirt. Depending on how severe the tampo is, it doesn't have to be something pricey like an electronic appliance. That's just basically paying her off, and she will take note and be more inclined to use this as a tactic in the future, so don't do that. If she's also giving you the silent treatment on Facebook, Messenger, or WhatsApp, send her a cute "I'm sorry" GIF. If you like, go for a bigger gesture by posting a photo of the two of you on Facebook. Filipinos love social media. Filipino women love when they are pursued. Talk things out. Filipinos aren't big on this because Filipino culture is non-confrontational. This is one of the reasons why tampo exists in the first place, and why Filipinos consider it to be normal behavior. At this point, you have to be open, but don't be blunt. Don't say things like, "I hate it when you treat me like this," or "I don't know what do you want from me." It's probably true that you have no clue, but don't make it sound like it's such an inconvenience. This will only make things worse and could result in longer tampo or even a full-blown fight. Some things you could say instead: "It hurt my feelings when you don't talk to me." Contrary to popular belief, many women actually do want to see some vulnerability in men. Make her feel safe. Let her know that sharing her feelings with you shouldn't feel scary or embarrassing. Most Westerners view tampo as childish and unnecessary behavior. That may be true, but you're also limited by your own biases. Think of it from your partner's perspective. She grew up in a culture where it's normal to withdraw from people or situations that hurt her feelings or rubbed her the wrong way. She believes that voicing how she feels is something that she should shy away from. If you're from somewhere like the US or Australia, UK, that's probably the opposite of what you were taught. Tell her that before she goes into tampo mode, there's the option of talking to you about the issue first. Try your best to assure her that you won't take it the wrong way, and that successful relationships are based on open communication. It's not something she needs to be embarrassed about when she's with you, right? It'll take time before upfront communication becomes your partner's first reaction to a mistake you've made. But all relationships take consistency to get to that point, especially interracial relationships. How local guys deal with tampo. Filipino men use these same methods to handle tampo, but sometimes they take it too far by making apologies even if they didn't do anything wrong. You don't want to go there. It'll normalize the habit to the point where tampo could be used as manipulation. This isn't always the case,
but it does happen.
The goal is to meet each other halfway. Just be patient. I am not saying you're the only one who has to adapt to our culture. But like I said, it takes time for you both to get used to each other's cultural behaviors. In the long term, she will also learn how to understand you more. The tampo isn't a thing for you, and she will learn how to express her feelings more. If you like this video and got something out from it, please give me a like and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any of my videos. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, well, that's definitely eye-opening to deal with a Filipina when she's giving you silent treatment or tampo. And I know I've definitely have had to go through this quite a few times in the early stages of my relationship with Lovely, but it's made me understand a lot more on how to deal with it better if it should happen again in the future. Touch wood that it doesn't, and to know how to be more understanding, to be more patient, and just to not let things sizzle for too long, so we can get to a point where she is at a stage where she can come to me, and if I have done something wrong, she can feel comfortable to tell me that if I've done something to offend someone, not that I'll do that intentionally, of course, and then we can get to the bottom of what the issue is and to swipe it under the bridge and just continue on forward. So yeah, I have to admit, I do love Rubeauti's content. She's really awesome in how she explains things in a very simple sort of way. Her English is fantastic, and yeah, so thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see and would like to see more, please drop us a like and a comment down below if there's something you want me to check out. And also, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. And I'll leave links down below for this video in its entirety, and a link to our channel to go and subscribe. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.